What's up, Ditch the Job listeners? Marc, Guberti, the podcasting coach here, helping people to launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts. And one of the paths to ditching your job is SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service. We have a guest who went from being a waiter to leveraging this opportunity to start multiple profitable businesses. In addition to that, today's guest served 3 years at the IDF as a tank commander and now owns a 7-figure e-commerce business. He is a Shopify app freak who has spent more than 3 years in the Shopify ecosystem. This has helped him co-found Reconvert and EasyCall.io, two companies where he is also the CEO. So our guest who joins us for this episode of Ditch the Job is none other than Eric Haim. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's quite an introduction there. It sounds way more impressive than it actually is, I must say.
Well, Eric, I mean, it's definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. And I do feel like a lot of people would love to have that 7-figure company to be able to start multiple businesses, have that freedom, being able to ditch their jobs. So I'm wondering if we could just start this all off with sharing how you got into SaaS, because first I feel like people got to figure out what that thing even means, like software as a service, and then how did you get into it?
All right. So basically when we just started, I think I got first into e-commerce back in 2014 or 15. Me and my previous partner, we launched a dropshipping store. I'm guessing this is something your audience is probably familiar with in one way or another. We launched a Shopify store, dropshipping products from China to the US and the rest of the world. And the store with time got pretty big and we sold really lots of products in a very short amount of time, but it was a lot of headaches and the profits margins were pretty low. So eventually I decided to just ditch this entire dropshipping business and just invest more of my time into software, as you mentioned, software as a service, because I was already familiar with e-commerce and I knew exactly what merchants are looking for. So I decided to have them as my customers to find the solutions I knew they're missing in their stores to make it better. And this way you can get them to pay you on a monthly basis, as long as you're providing a real value and creating good products to the market.
And that is a really interesting point because drop shipping is definitely something that's very popular, and you compare it to gold in a sense, like the gold rush. And one of the sayings there was, it's not the people who are picking up the gold that are making money, it's the people giving all the buckets that are making money. So sometimes you create some kind of software that is the bucket that everyone's going to buy if they want their gold in that gold rush era. So with the software, I feel like a lot of people think like a ton of coding, because I very, very briefly did coding and it was a lot. And I'm wondering, do you do the coding yourself? Do you just say, here's my idea, and you bring someone on your team? How does that bring it to life work?
All right. So I'm not a developer. I really don't know how to look at code. I don't know how to feel code or how to even understand it. It looks like Chinese to me. What I did is, first of all, find a partner that, even if he's not a developer, just know the technical stuff, know how to look at it, how to read it, and maybe analyze it a little bit. You don't have to be a professional coder in order to build an app. What we did is just outsource the development in cheaper countries, like Ukraine or India. The workforce there is much cheaper, and you can find high quality workers for much cheaper than, let's say, Europe or America. So that's what we did at the beginning. That's actually what we're still doing. But the most important thing for you as a business owner is, first of all, to find the right idea. You need to find a real pain point. And you can do that through talking to your customers, or even better, if you had your own business or your own industry you're already familiar with, you're probably already aware of multiple issues in that field. And then you need to create just a basic specification. Just create a big document explaining exactly what you want to do, how you want it to look like, what each button supposed to do, if you open it and something else happens. So just try to analyze as much as you can, bring it to the developer, find him. You can find developers on Upwork, Fiverr, I don't know, online jobs, wherever there's plenty of places to find developers today, and then you can start negotiating the price, and you can run from there.
And I mean, I love this idea of delegating. It's definitely something that I have done if I was in the creation of, doing SaaS. And I mean, it is something I could do in the future. But if I ever start on that path, delegation is going to be how I do that. And it's one thing to have the software. It's another thing to have profitable software. So can you share with us how you make a piece of software or this product profitable and being able to scale it up?
Yeah, so there are a lot of questions here, a lot of things you need to take in consideration. I think the first thing you need to do is find a product that is actually sustainable in terms of retention. So with every software, you're going to have customers who are registering to the software, and then after a month, after 2 months, after 5 months, no matter how long it is for your software, they're going to just leave it and either going to a competitor or just, I don't know, leave you for whatever reason. So you want to find a solution that can retain customer for the longest. So the way we do this, for example, in Reconvert, is we actually display the ROI on the app. So for example, we can show them, hey, you spent $100 this month and the app made you $3,000 in revenue. So that's like 3,000% ROI. And when you see those numbers as an entrepreneur, it's easier for you to stay because, again, it's just what you get and for what you pay. So if you keep this number positive, that's a good start. And then you also need to figure out a way to market your app. And this is maybe a different question or a different topic. But I think with pricing, you also want to make it very easy for people to come into your app. So if you can allow yourself to have a free tier or a free trial period where users can actually try it and figure out if it works for them or not, that's a great option to make it easier for people to get in and actually explore the product for themselves. Yeah.
And I mean, I love that showing the ROI. Obviously, that's not possible for each software because each software is different, but being able to show them numbers, like being able to show them concrete proof that the software is working and being able to get people in, even if the initial people go in for free or at a significant discount, just to get momentum, just to get case studies, just to build up from where you are, is a really great approach. And I'm wondering, what was a time that you realized that this was going to be something that could really become a 7-figure enterprise? Because I know you mentioned, like I mentioned earlier, you were a waiter at the beginning, then you went to multiple profitable businesses. So when did you really see this was taking off?
So again, because this was a pain point I already knew exists, I knew we can make it better. So right from the beginning, I thought it's going to be profitable, but I didn't imagine how big it can get that fast. Right after we launched, Shopify featured our app. Sorry about that. So right after we launched, Shopify featured our app on the homepage of the Shopify App Store, and we got, I think, 700 installs from the first week of being live. But it's not always the case with all the rest of the products. Some products is going to take a longer time to get to a product market fit. So you do need to believe in your product and keep, tweaking it to find where are the places during your funnel that customers drop out and leave the product. You need to understand why, and then you need to understand how to fix that. Obviously, if you're running for a year and nothing works, maybe you need to reconsider the idea or maybe pivot a little bit. But with most ideas, you can get profitable pretty easily. It's not that hard because especially in places like Shopify or other marketplaces, I don't know, WooCommerce, Magento. I'm speaking just about e-commerce right now because that's what I'm more experienced with. Usually, you're gonna get a lot of organic traffic. So either way, probably your revenue is gonna increase month over month. and you only pay for development once. So eventually it's gonna return the investment, and from there it's like an asset you have online, and you can later on sell it for pretty big, I don't know the word for it, but pretty big number of months of income. So that's great.
And I mean, just thinking about the potential of the software as a service, and I mean, when you do see that it is working, I mean, it just gets exciting. You just want to continue to grow it. And I know using affiliates is a really great way to do that, but I feel like a lot of people could think about marketing and how do I get more clients, members, customers. But Eric mentions a really great point. Look at your funnel, because there could be one part of your funnel that is slowing you down. It may not even be worth it after a year if the funnel is just not converting, if nothing is working. So sometimes you have to make that hard decision and say, you know, this isn't working for me. So I'm wondering if you've ever had to come across that decision yourself for one of your projects, and any thoughts on that for people who may come across that path at some point.
Yeah, of course. It happened more so in the beginning, when you're still at the beginning. It feels like a fog. You don't really know. You can't see whatever is in front of you or behind you. You're just trying to find your way. So when we just launched our first e-commerce store, I think for a year and a half, we didn't make any money. We did make some sales, but we never got to make it profitable. And it was very, very painful. And only after a year, I spoke to my former partner and I told him, listen, I'm pretty sure if we just tweak some of the things we're doing, if we probably, back in the day, we used to do Google Shopping ads, and that's how we got most of our sales. We decided to switch it up to do Facebook ads instead, and using the audiences we already have on Facebook built through the pixel from the traffic we got from Google Shopping. And since that day, it worked like magic. We just needed to figure out what's not working. We just didn't have enough traffic from Google Shopping in the niche we used to sell. We used to sell boxing and MMA equipment. We didn't have enough traffic on Google. So once we switched it up to Facebook with our existing audience, things started exploding. And eventually the older store, we closed it and kept moving with the new store. So yeah, it definitely happens. And it's okay when it happens. It's okay to lose money in the beginning. You just need to believe in yourself and keep going, because eventually you only need 1 out of 10 things to work. And this one thing can, get you back all the money you lost and much more in just like a month. I'm thinking about all the money back in the day. It felt like the end of the world when I felt like I lost so much. And now when I look at it these days, in 3 days of basically doing not much, you can get all of it back and more. So you just need to believe in yourself and know that down the road, 1 success equals 10 failures and more. So that's fine.
And I love that mentality. And one of the things that's interesting is because, people, part of ditching the job is saving up enough money to get out of the job. And I get the idea of investing in ads or investing in a software that you're going to create, because you got to delegate and market and things like that. So how do you determine, because you usually start off at losses, whether it's ads or whatever, but how do you determine how much money spent is appropriate? Like, is there a cap to how much you'd be like, okay, like I'm fine with losing this much money, or is like at this number, I'm done? Like, do you ever have something like that kind of number?
So for us, I think we never had an exact number. What we used to tell to ourselves, like the reason behind what we did is buying data. So if you, for example, investing in ads, you're buying data, you're making your pixel more mature, or your, remarketing pixel more mature, or whatever. But eventually, if you're buying data, your next month should be better than the one before that. And whenever that's not the case anymore, let's say you maxed out on your data and results are not getting any better, maybe that's time to figure out a different way to go to. Because obviously for the first few months, you're gonna lose some money. After a while, just results should get better because your pixel getting better, and the You're also building lists like email lists, push notifications, subscribers, SMS subscribers, messenger bot subscribers. All of those over time can start generating some income for you, but you need to pay for them first. But again, if you're not seeing an improvement in your overall profits after, or improvement in your losses after a few months, maybe you're doing something wrong and you need to look at it again, maybe switch it up a little bit.
And I really like the message that Eric is sharing, because what's happening is each month you get data. So you're supposed to do better the following month if you're playing with the same data. So you like looking into an ad to see what went right, what went wrong, looking into sales, looking into people going through your funnel, conversion rates, what went right, what went wrong, and being able to change those. So month after month, you are supposed to be getting better if you are just using the same data and actually going through the data, through the ads, through the funnels to get that better picture of what you need to be doing. So Eric, I definitely appreciate you for taking the time to share all of your great insights with our listeners. For people who want to continue following you on your journey, where are some good places for us to go?
So first of all, you can always, if you have a Shopify store, definitely check it out. Reconvert on the Shopify App Store. You can always visit our website, stealyourapps.info. That's where you can find out information of all of our apps. We also have a few new products, as you mentioned at the beginning, easycall.io, which is a great fit for every business. And you can find out us on YouTube. We have a channel called Steal Your Apps. And yeah, we also have a Facebook group with over, I think, 1,000 merchants called Easy Tricks by Reconvert. You can check it out as well.
Eric, thank you for sharing with us all those resources. We'll link those in the show notes. Once again, thank you so much for coming on Ditch the Job. It was such a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time and really appreciate it a lot.